Welcome to a virtual tour of the trails at Shaker Village of Pleasant Hill. Located about 25 miles southwest of Lexington, Kentucky, in the Bluegrass region, the entrance to the trails and the main village is at the intersection of U.S. Route 68 and Kentucky Route 33, also called Shakertown Road. Shaker Village of Pleasant Hill is Kentucky's largest national historic landmark and the country's largest collection of original 19th century buildings. The original site was founded on 140 acres of farmland owned by Elisha Thomas, one of the first Kentuckians to convert to the Shaker religion when missionaries arrived in the area in 1805. By 1823, the village had grown to over 490 people who collectively owned and worked over 4,000 acres of land. The prosperity and ingenuity of the Pleasant Hill Shakers endured for more than 100 years, during which they built more than 260 structures, including the first municipal water system in Kentucky. Shakers believed in peace, equality of sex and race, celibacy, and simplicity. They were known for excellent craftsmanship, impressive building skills, their knowledge of agricultural practices, and their kinship with the land and each other. Hardworking and industrious, the Shakers traded brooms, preserves, packaged seeds, and other wares with towns as far away as New Orleans via the Kentucky, Ohio, and Mississippi rivers. They also bred and raised one of America's largest herds of Durham Shorthorn cattle. Though the last of the Pleasant Hill Shakers, Sister Mary Settles, passed away in 1923, the Shaker legacy lives on thanks to the efforts of Earl D. Wallace, a retired oil executive and Wall Street financier who worked throughout the 1960s to obtain funding to restore the village buildings and lands so that tourists could experience the beauty of Shaker life anew. Today, Shaker Village is a non-profit organization that relies on revenue generated by visitors and funding from public sources, private donations, and endowments. Guided by the Shaker principles of conservation, sustainability, hospitality, and engaged learning, the village provides a model of how a community can thrive in harmony with nature. The preserve at Shaker Village covers approximately 3,000 acres with 12 trails totaling 36 miles. Although you can hike the trails for free, donations help cover the cost of trail maintenance. The trails are open daily, sunrise to sunset, for hiking, horseback riding, and even cycling. There are 3 trailheads with parking. The East Trailhead is the most accessible trailhead from the historic center and is located in the southeast corner of the main parking lot. If you've brought a mountain bike, this is the best place for you to park. From the East Trailhead, you can access Meadow View, Tanyard, Palisades, River Road, and Village Loop trails. Views of the Palisades, Kentucky River floodplain, High Bridge, the historic Tanyard building, and much of the Shaker Farm and Village can be viewed from these trails. The Center Trailhead is located about 1 mile from the historic center and is convenient to the Bird Blind, Nature Overlook, and Amphitheater. From this trailhead, you can access 5 trails: Lambton, Towering Sycamore, Pelly, Heritage, and Anderson. Highlights of these trails include old stone fences, the remains of the Shaker grist and linseed oil mills, Kissing Bridge, and giant sycamore trees. Finally, the West Trailhead is located about 1.5 miles from the historic center and has ample parking for equestrian trailers. The trailhead sits just north of the stable. There are 3 trails accessible from this trailhead: Chinkapin, Shawnee Run, and West Lot. Highlights of these trails include the restored native prairie, the Foaling Mill site with its beautiful waterfall, and multiple crossings of Shawnee Run Creek. Here are some important things to remember when hiking in the preserve. Cell signal is unavailable throughout most of the area. The trails do pass near steep drops, cliffs, and abandoned mine sites, so watch your step and stay on the marked trails. There are no restroom facilities, drinking water, or trash receptacles on the trails, but there are restroom facilities located next to the stable and at Shaker Landing. Dogs on a leash are permitted on the River Road and Palisades trails only. They are not permitted anywhere else in the preserve. It's important that you don't disturb the wildlife or the historic remains while you're hiking. Picking plants and collecting rocks, fossils, or other souvenirs is not permitted. Also, practice the leave no trace principle. If you pack it in, pack it out. You might encounter people on horseback on the trails. Hikers and cyclists are required to yield to them. Horse trailers must park at the stable in the designated area. If you go on a hike in the preserve, you will witness the results of large-scale habitat and wildlife restoration, inspired by the Shaker practice of concerned care for the land. The village and multiple conservation partners have converted 1,000 acres of unproductive pasture into a prairie filled with over 500 native plants, wildflowers, and grasses. The prairie ecosystem is one of the rarest plant communities in North America. The forest and woodlands have been bolstered by an extensive tree planting program, which includes more than 50 documented native tree species, such as the yellowwood, the tulip poplar, and the shumard and chinkapin oaks. The conservation and restoration of endemic flora has also encouraged the growth of dozens of native insect, songbird, and mammal populations. Bird watching and photography are popular activities in the preserve. Keep an eye out for bobwhite quail, Henslow's sparrow, and dickcissels. For a checklist of interesting bird and plant species to find on your hike, visit the Explore section of the Shaker Village website. Shaker Village offers historic tours, craft demonstrations, outdoor music, trail runs, nature identification hikes, paddling adventures, stargazing, and many, many other educational outings. Visit the village online at shakervillageky.org for an events calendar and in-depth information. We hope you have the opportunity to take a walk in the preserve at Shaker Village of Pleasant Hill. Thanks for watching. Check out the JCPL YouTube channel to discover more great places to walk around Kentucky.